Hey designers, welcome back to my channel Design with Pramod. Let's do designing together. In today's session, let's try to understand something cool guys, and that is very different from all the different sessions what I have created so far. And this is about complete color scheme guys, and how we use the color schemes to create the different kind of cool looking UIs. I think this is more related to UI stuff, where how do we define our primary color when it comes to the applications. We always take one single color as a primary color, but what is actually a primary color? I think most of the designers are confused about this topic, and with my experience, let me try to explain you guys in clear way what are the colors we are going to define, and what is the meaning of primary color, and what kind of a colors we'll be defining as a secondary one. How do we define primary, secondary and tertiary colors, and what is the color spaces we use in a digital world. And let's try to get into the tool, and let's try to see them one by one, and how do we define them and how do we use them into our designs. I think most of us know that we have something called color space, and this color space has been defined by Adobe, by the way. And as part of the color space, when we use the RGB, right, this has been invented by Adobe, by the way. And if you see here, right, this is one of the color space what we have, and this will be used in Figma or Adobe tools, whatever we use, right? And this will be used in only digital website or whatever we use, right? And if you see this one, right, yellow, red and blue, this is one more primary color with what we have here. And with these colors only we'll be creating primary and secondary. Let's try to go with this color wheel right now. What we have as a primary, right, like yellow, red and blue, this is a one primary color wheel what we have, and we'll be referring this as a primary color wheel, and we'll be creating the secondary color. How do we create those secondary colors? Let's go to the next slide and see that. If I mix yellow and blue color, this green color will be generated. If you go back to this primary color, right, if I mix this yellow and blue, we'll get the green color. So like this. So this is how we get the secondary color. And again, if I want to get this orange color, right, I'll be mixing my red and yellow. All right, so if I mix this yellow and red, we'll be generating orange color, and I will not go to detail how do we generate them. And if I mix red and blue, we'll get this purple color. And this is how we create a secondary color, guys. And let's try to see how we create the tertiary colors. And if I mix this primary and secondary colors, right, this is how we get the tertiary colors. In total, we have 6 tertiary colors, and we have 3 secondary colors and 3 primary colors. In total, we'll get the complete 12 colors of the wheel. And this is how we generated 12 different colors of the wheel. And we'll be having the different color schemes to refer whenever we try to design something cool, right? So like complementary color, split complementary color, or monochromatic color, kind of a different color schemes we have. And this is the main primary wheel. With this one only we have to define our colors, guys. This is how we actually well define our colors, and to make the UI look harmonious. This is how we define our colors, and we use our colors into designs, guys. When we use the proper color schemes, right, then only our UIs will look good. Otherwise those will be messed up, guys. And let's try to get into the Figma tool, and let's try to see how I try to use colors into the Figma, right? Let me try to explain about this hue and saturation and value. And let's get into the tool, and let's try to understand this hue, saturation and value. All right, so I'm here into my design tool, and let's try to go here, and let's try to draw something here as a frame. And if I select this color, right, if I go to the right side section where design section is listed, all right, and if I click on this fill section, right, I'll see my this color customization section where I have this custom section enabled, where I have this is like my solid color space, where I have this is my white color right now, and this is how my colors will be here. And let me tell you guys what is the meaning of this. This is like a hue wheel, whatever we have different colors here. If I see here, right, if I go here and if I change the color of that, right, that is like a hue. If you see here, right, if I'm dragging this notch right here to here, my colors are changing. That is like a hue where I am changing my colors. All right, this Let me repeat that again. This is like a hue wheel, whatever we have, where we have different colors and shades and tints. All right. And if I go to this section, right, and this is like a saturation section. If I take this section separately, and if I draw something here as a section, right, this is like a saturation. If I go to this color, right, and if I refer to the word saturation, means the color, how brighter color this will be. If I make this as a saturated color, right, if I refer to this green, and if I drag this wheel to the bottom, right, or to the down of this section, then color will be like desaturated one, green color will be like darker. And this is like, if I increase the brightness of this color, right, that means the green is saturated green. And that is how we refer our saturation. And let's try to understand, this is like a value. If you consider this left side section, right, this is like a value side where you can actually define your tints and shades. All right. And this is how we actually play with our color wheel, guide. And this is the very basic things for any designers to understand. Let me repeat this again. And this is like a hue wheel for us, where we'll be having different colors. And if I consider this only section, and if we draw this section here, right, the bottom of this section, this is like a saturation color. If I take any kind of a color, right, if I go to this red color, saturation color will be here. What do I mean by saturation? If I increase the brightness of that color, means that color is very saturated. And if I decrease the brightness of this color, right, that is like a desaturated color. And if I go to this left side section, right, and this is like a value where we can define tints and shades of the color. And this is very basic, guys. All right. And this is about using the colors. I hope you understood so far something great, guys. And if you do, hit the like button and share with the subscribers. By this way, this will be very helpful for many designers. Let's try to get in depth and try to understand how do we use the colors in Figma. All right. So if I click on this fill color again, this is like a solid color for us. And if I go to this wheel, right, where let's try to go to the brighter color, and let's try to fill this with something background as a white, and let's try to put this frame under this color right now. And if I go here and try to decrease the size of this one, right, this is like a purple color what I am using right now. And if I decrease the, we can actually decrease the opacity of that color. So if you guys can see that, right, I'm decreasing the opacity of that color. And let me, for the reference, let me try to draw something as a background again. Let me fill this color, and that could be my black, right, and this is my black color. If you guys can see here, right, I'm increasing the opacity again to just tell you guys how that opacity can be managed. From here only we can actually change the opacity of the color, and from here also we can actually change the opacity of the color. So let me try to change it to 20. If I want to hide that, right, I can actually remove the fill and hide that color, or we can actually hide and show that color. And this is how we actually play with the colors here to fill. And the main thing is, there is one more thing here. And if you see, this is a canvas, right, and this is like a frame for us. And if I want to change the canvas color also, right, like this is like a page for me right now, I can actually change its color. If you guys can see, right, many of designers or entry level designers were confused about using these kind of a colors here. So the difference in Figma is like you can actually change the color of any pages, and this is how we play with the color. And let's try to go back again, and let's try to fill this color back to 100% opacity. Make this, if you guys can see here, right, this is like an eyedropper tool, where if I have this shape here, and if I want to replicate the same color what I have here, so I want to apply the same color whatever I have here to this black color one, right, so I just go here and I just use this icon. This is like an eyedropper tool. All right, and I'll just go and select this one, and if you guys can see that, right, that color got reflected on this black color shape. All right, and this is how we actually use that eyedropper tool. Again, let me go back here and let me show you guys. And these are our on this page defined colors again. And if I want to, go here and select these colors, right, so these are some of the colors what are defined as tokens or libraries, right? And if I go here and if I want to add one more color, right, let's say this is my one more color, and if I want to add this to the different field, right, I can actually add the different color on this one too. And let's go back again and let's try to create this as a variable. So let's say this is one of the color what I have here. If I want to add this as a variable, right, I can actually add. Let me name this as a color 2, and this variable will be created. If you guys can see that, right, this variable will be created, and I can actually publish these colors as my design system colors, and those will be listed into to the different designers or different group members, right? If I go back again and if I want to choose, let's say I'm choosing this color from here, and let's go here, and if I want to fill this one, and if I want to use this color, right, this is one of the color what I'm using, and this is how we can use our different colors from different, and these will be created as a variables again. And if I go here and if I click on this color fill again, and this is how we have this gradient color, and this is like a linear gradient color, and this is like in the single line or in the vertical single line we can actually use these as a color. So if I want to change this as a 45-degree level of slanting, right, this is how we have this color. And if I want to add some pointer, right, all the different colors will be added to the single line. This is how we have our color definition for the linear gradient, guys. So if I want to change this color, right, I can actually change that to something else. And if I want to change its color, so I can play with this like this. And similar way, I'll go here and I'll select this one. When we have the gradient option enabled, right, we have we have four different gradient options available from the Figma. This is like a linear one by default, whatever we have. And if I change it to radial, right, so this is how our radial color will be given. If I want to delete these, right, I can actually delete, and from the center itself the two colors would be spreaded out. And this is how our circular gradient or radial gradient will be working. And if I want to change that to angular, right, so this is how our angular gradient will work. And if I want to change that to diamond, this is how our diamond shaped gradient, if you guys can see that, right, the shade, darker shade will be here, and this is like a brighter color here, and this is how our diamond shaped gradient will be working, guys. And if I want to tilt that or rotate that color, right, this is how we can actually rotate. And if I want to flip the gradient from this side to this side, let's say I have the darker one this side and the brighter one this side, right, I can actually flip. If you guys see here, right, so flipping can be done. And this is how we have many different options to customize our colors. Now let's try to understand some more cool things about using the colors in Figma. So these are some extra things, guys. So you can play with the colors and you can actually generate so many cool things with the colors. All right. So let me draw some color here, or let me draw some frame here. Right. So this is my frame and this has been filled with some color. So let's go to the color panel again, or where fill section is lying. All right. So we'll click on this color notch, whatever we have right now. And if you see here, right, libraries, like I said, you can actually create multiple color libraries as well. And if you click on this drop down arrow, right, you have these all library section where you have, if you have created the library and you are accessing those color libraries or whatever, right, all the colors from those libraries will be displayed here. Let's say you are working on this project and you have created some colors, right, and these are two different colors what you have created in this file itself, and these are working as a variables again. And all right, and if you want to, let's go to the custom right now, and if you see here, right, you will see this as a solid color section. If you come to this section and if you hover on this water droplet kind of icon, right, where blend mode is hidden. So this is very important thing, guys, and I'll be creating different section for this one. So let's try to understand basic how this blend mode will work. All right, let's go to this section. If you see this one, right, we have tons of options available here, where you have these many options: darken, multiply. If you see here, right, some color change is happening into our frame 22. And if you see here, right, we have this white color right now, and if I drag to red one, and if you click on this one again, if I say this is a darker one, so darken the color. So if you see that, right, it is actually adding the black color on the red one. So that is how your color is getting desaturated again. And if you multiply that one, right, this is how it is actually behaving. And if you want to see that is a saturated one, right, this is the shortcut you can actually use. So it will actually help you to suggest, if you are creating some primary colors, let's say you have some three different colors, or if you have one different primary colors in your design file, and if you don't know how accurately you want to use this as a saturated and desaturated one, right, so this is how you can actually use this as a shortcut. This is, you can actually lighten your color. If you go back to the normal one, right, this is how your red color is coming. It might not suit on many screens, but if you want to make it little darker, right, this is how you can actually darken that color. It is actually adding the dark color on the red one, so that is how it is darkening. If you go to the lighter screen, right, or if you want to use the brighter color of that same color, whatever you are choosing, right, this is how you can actually use that lighter color. And if you go to the screen and plus lighter, if you see that, right, it is making it more saturated color. All right, and this is how you have hue, saturation, color, and luminosity as well. So these are little technical words. Again, you might be confused about using all of these, but right now these are enough to understand. And this is one of the feature I wanted to let you guys know, that you can actually use the blend mode, like how you use in the blend mode into different options. So you might have seen blend mode might be working on images or whatever, right? If you see here, right, and again we have the color on colors as well in 2025, and we had this one back then, but we have so many different features available right now to blend your colors as well. If you want to check whether this color is enough contrast to my screen, where all the elements of my items, or where all the elements are actually properly visible, or accessibility kind of a things we consider, right, where you can actually see the things whatever is there in a screen, then this there is one more option what we have, that is like this is one more option what we have as a handy right now for the users to check your color contrast, right? So how much contrast this color is, right? So you can actually check your contrast here itself. Like if you see here, right, so whether this color whatever we have here, is it passing that AA contrast standard met. Let's try to go here again, and let's try to disable this one right now. And if I make this lighter, and again if I go back to this one, right, this is how it is giving us the ratio, what it is, 4.361. And these are some technical words. Again, I don't want to go into that detail right now. All right, so this is how these are working differently, guys. So let's say you have so many colors with you right now, like primary, secondary, all different accent colors, maybe red, green, and all. And maybe let's say you are actually working on one button component or whatever components for your design, right? So let's say you want to have some text on the button or background button or whatever, and then if you want to quickly check its contrast, right, this little icon actually helps you to check what standard it is actually helping you. Well, that is all about the colors, guys, and hope you guys learned something great today. If you do, hit the like button and share with the learners. See you. Bye bye.